Welcome. We've got an FJ chat with Tom Nichols, who's CEO of Waste Management. Welcome, Tom.
Yeah, hi Ian.
Tom's got a fascinating story on what Waste Management are doing in a range of areas. Obviously, if you've been watching news, you might have seen some of their stories around electric vehicles. But there's actually a bigger one behind that, which I wanted to touch on first. So I'm old enough, Tom, to sort of, I have to embarrass to say that in my days a landfill was called a tip, and it was seagulls and plastic bags and not very nice things. But boy, I've been out to Redvale and it's a different beast now. What's the overall contribution and where does that thing, the Redvale landfill, now take Waste Management as a business?
Okay, I guess Ian, the best way to think about a modern sustainable landfill is to think about the whole value chain. So we collect waste, solid, liquid, hazardous waste. We collect that way, we process that, we extract the valuable resources as much as we can, and then the residual component we take to a modern sustainable landfill to make it safe. So by modern sustainable landfill, we mean a landfill that is fully lined, absolutely nothing leaches into the ground. There is gas capture and cover, which means that the organic component of the waste digest anaerobically without oxygen over a long period. We capture 95% of that gas, predominantly methane, a greenhouse gas. We take that through generators, so we have banks of 1 megawatt each generators, big V20 engines, for anybody who's technically inclined, and it costs a lot to change the spark plugs. and then we generate electricity, which we sell to the grid, and that is genuine green renewable energy, a direct substitute for fossil fuel. So that's what happens in a modern sustainable landfill, and Redvale on the north side of Auckland is the largest example of that in New Zealand.
We went out on a visit, and I've got to say I was hugely impressed. It's something, it was clean, it was quiet, it was green, and apart from the roar of these engines with the powering of electricity, it was extraordinary. It was a great thing. So that electricity is then coming back into the grid, and you now have a whole new initiative about how to use that electricity. So tell us about some of that.
Okay. Recently we've announced that we are converting the majority of our fleet to plug-in electric. So
this is the waste collection fleet, the big, heavy trucks.
Exactly, Ian. We have our fleet here in New Zealand. We have 200 light vehicles, so tool of trade cars, and vans and utes and such like. And then we have 800 trucks, so large trucks that you see, large red trucks that you see around the roads of New Zealand. And we commenced the pilot program 12 months ago now by bringing some cars into our fleet. So we currently have some Nissan Leafs, we have some BMW i3s, we have Mitsubishi Outlanders, and also Renault Kangoos, which are vans. These are plug-in electric vehicles, and they're going really well. The big announcement that we made recently was that we are going to also convert the majority of our trucking fleet to plug-in electric. And we currently have 3 trucks being converted. So what we've done is taken 1 box body truck and 2 side load trucks. These are brand new vehicles. We buy the cab chassis brand new. We then put a bespoke fabricated body on the back of it for the particular application. We've then sent those up to a company in the Netherlands called Emos, who are global leaders in truck conversions to plug-in electric power.
So they retrofit, really?
Yes. So basically we take a brand new truck, we pull the diesel engine out, and which we can sell, and replace that with battery power. And so.
that'd be extraordinary. See, I was fortunate enough to jump into a Tesla the other day, which is an extraordinary vehicle in itself. And it was a Tesla S, and it was 4 ton.
Yeah.
So a truck it's got to be what 20 or so ton?
More than that, yeah.
So how does an electric vehicle work in something as weighty as that? To move something like that must draw an enormous amount of power. So how does the electric cycle work?
Well, for a waste collection truck, if you think about either the residential collection truck that many of us have at our home, that sort of municipal residential collection truck typically will pick up from between 12 and 1400 houses per day on its regular route. So if you think about it, that's a 25-ton truck stopping and starting every 15 metres down your street. So the regenerative potential there is huge.
Gotcha. So every time you put on the brakes, you're regenerating back to the
Correct. And for commercial industrial collections, most of that is 3 cubic metre front lift bins. That if you will have seen them around commercial facilities, the bins that go over. Same thing, probably not every 15 metres down the street, but it's still stop-start is the nature of the game. So the regenerative potential and also the distance travelled, we know exactly what the distance travelled on each route is, and we are confident that there'll be sufficient capacity in the truck to do its route between overnight recharges.
Just get back and sort of stop to go through. I mean, range anxiety, which I was talking to this Tesla owner, and he said, look, the big thing to get over is range anxiety. And he said, once you're over that, it's the breeze.
Exactly.
I guess it's the same thing, but you're more used to it because you'll be route optimizing all the time anyway.
Well, we are, and of course the thing that really works in our favour in our industry is that each daily route is quite clearly designed and known. So we know exactly how far we're going to go each day. So there's no mystery, no risk.
And in terms of, I mean, they're going to be quieter. You're now dealing with potentially electricity that at some part you've regenerated and put into the grid. So you're a 100% sustainable business.
Well, we are. I mean, it's just, you're absolutely right. I mean, sustainability, if you think about what we do, sustainability is actually our core purpose. It's our reason for being. It's what we do. But we have the circular economy loop now fully closed. Electric vehicles. So as I said earlier, we generate green electricity, direct substitute for fossil fuel at our modern sustainable landfill. We sell that to the grid. We can buy that back from the grid. In fact, we can hitch that with ourselves to power our 200 light vehicles and the majority of our collection trucks. And so, the analysis that we've done suggests that a waste collection truck servicing, say, 1,200 homes in any of the major cities in New Zealand will typically pick up about 16 tonnes per day of waste. When that waste goes to the modern sustainable landfill, the gas that waste generates is sufficient to power that truck for the day, plus 275 houses.
So it's more than sustainable, you're actually contributing.
We do.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And in terms of moving to that sort of initiative in the fleet, is that a first for New Zealand in terms of the...
Well, I think it's definitely first for New Zealand. I have been asked whether it's first in the world, and I don't think so. I mean, I don't think we're the first waste company in the world to pursue this, although with the side load technology, which is the type of truck that picks up a wheelie bin. As far as we know, nobody else in the world has done that, so this will be a brave new world for us.
Well, is this because the other part I'm thinking about is the retrofitting of trucks, which again, we need to go back a step at some point and build these from scratch. Is that because the trucking companies haven't quite got there yet, the bodybuilders?
It's not the bodybuilders.
Sorry,
it's the original truck manufacturer. That's partly the case, I think. Our initial focus has been to convert brand new trucks, and we, presuming the pilot goes as well as we expect it to, we will continue to do that. But I think there is also the potential for the newer current fleet to be considered for conversion as well. So you wouldn't do it with a truck that's close to retirement, but one that's only a year or two old, perhaps we would.
But you'd have downstream less wear and tear issues, less moving parts, no gearbox, all those sort of things that come as a benefit for electric vehicles as well. Yeah. Plus that magnificent looking fleet you've got at your front door all plugged in, powered by waste over there, which look fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, well we've charging stations at 9 of our sites now across New Zealand, and ultimately we will have it at the majority of our sites. But currently we've got it at 9 sites. And increasingly, you will see both our light fleet and our heavy truck fleet out there on the roads being powered by plug-in electricity.
The drivers of the light fleet had comments about them because they're great looking vehicles, but also that they tell the story powered by waste.
They do, and I think it's fair to say that they're all very excited about working for a company that is truly sustainable. And if you've driven one, and I've driven them, and I mean they are really cool, funky cars to drive and to get into. You do need to think about your driving style, because of course, for anybody, any technologists in your audience here, the beauty of an electric motor is that you have a flat torque curve, so you have full torque at the first revolution, which means if you want to take off from the line quickly, you can. But of course, that comes at the cost of your battery. So you need to think about
putting the foot down.
You need to be thinking about your driving style. It's about being smooth and gentle, and if you do that, you'll find that you'll have no trouble with range anxiety.
And that curve on the graph that's on your little dashboard that says you're below the curve, you need to do something with it. This is great things, I think, for initiatives, but not only for your own company, but also I think setting a bit of a torch and bringing attention to the issues around that. And have you found, since you announced the initiative, that's what's happened?
We've actually been very, very pleased and somewhat surprised by the level of interest. We expected it to be newsworthy, but it's proving to be it's resonated. I think would be a good way to describe it, with a very wide section of the community and business, and that's fantastic because we think it's a great story.
You know that there is a disclaimer in here that there are a number of residents who, now that they can't hear the truck coming in the morning, may miss the collection because that was their warning signal to get out of bed and get that bin out there of the noise of the truck.
Yeah, look, I think the plug-in electric truck will be quieter. It will not be totally silent.
Phew, there's a few of us who still got the alarm clock that actually get us for the recycling. Hey Tom, thanks so much for sharing that. I think it's a really interesting story. We really appreciate you passing it on.
Okay,
thanks.